Konnichiwa, hajimemashite, konyoji desu, and welcome back to World of Tanks Blitz. And today we are going to take a look at the hybrid premium Tier 7 heavy, the Nameless, or the second anime tank from Valkyria Chronicles. Stay tuned, I've got a couple of killer gameplays coming up as soon as we compare this tank with the other Tier 7 heavies, and as well as taking a look at the armor profile to help you guys play its armor more effectively in the battlefield. So a short background on the Nameless, it is piloted by Gooserg, or the Darson character, the Darson tank commander in Valkyria Chronicles 3. Now Valkyria Chronicles 3 was in the same setting as the first Valkyria Chronicles, being that it was also a second European war tank, but featuring a different squad and a different set of characters, namely Squad 422, and it was also commanded by a Lieutenant Kurt Irving. And basically I was surprised because I was expecting that the main character was also going to pilot a tank instead of being an infantry. But anyway, the storyline was great. Fully recommend the game anyway. So anyway, back on the tank. First off, it looks really a lot like a King Tiger too. Seriously, this tank looks a lot like a tiger. The hull is in the shape of a tiger, the front, the side, the rear. But looking at the turret though, it sports the Porsche turret, which was basically the early turret, or rather the first turret mounted on the Tiger tubes when they were first rolling out of the production line. It also gets a very punchy 105mm cannon. I really don't want to get hit by this thing. So anyway, let's go take a look at how the Nameless compares up with the other Tier 7 heavies. Now putting everything into consideration, we're going to compare the Nameless against the Lupus, the M6, the IS-2, the Tankenstein, and the VK4503. DPM wise, we can see that the Nameless has a lot better DPM than the tanks from the Lupus to the Tankenstein, but the VK4503 beats every tank in this category here in terms of firepower. The Nameless gets 180mm of penetration, which is a lot better than the Lupus and the IS-2, but significantly worse than the M6, the Tankenstein, and the VK4503. In terms of rate of fire, we can see that the Nameless gets 6.48 rounds per minute with a reload time of 9.27 seconds. It's better than the Lupus, the M6, the IS-2, the Tankenstein, but it's not as good as the VK. Shell velocity wise, we can see that the Nameless has a lot better shell velocity than the Lupus and the IS-2, but it's not as good as the M6 and the VK4503, but shares similarities with the Tankenstein. Weapon handling wise, we can see that the Nameless is lagging behind against the Lupus and the M6 in terms of the aim time. The same goes for the VK4503, but it's got a lot better aim time than the IS-2 and similar with the Tankenstein. For the dispersion, the accuracy, we can see here that the Nameless has a lot better accuracy than the Lupus, the IS-2, and the Tankenstein, but the M6 gets a lot better accuracy at 0.38 and the VK4503 with 0.308. Gun depression wise, we can see that the Nameless has a lot better gun depression than the Lupus, with only 5 degrees on the Lupus, and the IS-2 6 degrees, and the Tankenstein 6 degrees as well. But the M6 has a lot better gun depression and the elevation than the Nameless, and it pretty much shares similarities with the VK4503, comparing the gun depression and the elevation of it to the Nameless. Mobility wise, we can see that the Nameless is lagging behind here compared to the Lupus, the IS-2, the Tankenstein, and the VK4503, but the speed on the M6 is not as good as the Nameless. Power to weight ratio, we can see that the Nameless won't get its speed that fast compared to the Lupus, the M6, or the IS-2, but comparing it with the Tankenstein and the VK, it gets to its top speed a lot faster. Armor wise, we can see that the Nameless has a lot better frontal armor than the Lupus, but the Lupus has spaced armor on the front, so it's pretty much one of those tanks that are a tough nut to crack. Comparing the Nameless with the M6, the Tankenstein, pretty much it doesn't get nowhere as good as the two tanks because the M6 and the Tankenstein have very good frontal armor. But comparing the Nameless with the IS-2 and the VK4503, it's a lot better because the Nameless gets 150mm of frontal hull armor and 120mm of frontal turret armor. Now let's go take a look at the armor profile of the Nameless. So now we are taking a look at the armor profile of the Nameless here, and frontally we can see that the frontal armor is ranging from 150 to 300 on the top here. And if we're going to angle your tank like this, using the gun depression, we can see that the thickness is getting a lot more effective here, except for the lower glacis here. The lower glacis has around 62 millimeters of frontal armor here, so we can see it's very thin. So pretty much when you're shooting a Nameless on the front, you can either aim for this, or the viewport here, or even the cupola. The cupola is so big and round. The cupola is very big here, and probably it's a lot bigger than the Tiger 2 as well. But the turret cheeks here, where pretty much you can pen the Porsche turret, it's small and pretty much it's a very hard target to exploit. So pretty much when you're shooting an Aimless, you can either go for the cupola, this viewport, or even this lower plate. Turret sides, it's very angled here, and pretty much you're gonna bounce a lot of shots if you're facing your turret frontally and they're going to try to aim here. And pretty much given that this is pretty much a Porsche turret, the armor, the frontal armor here, the frontal turret armor, it's a lot better than the Tiger, because quite frankly, if I did remember playing the Tiger 2 and using the Porsche turret, I get a lot of pens if I use the stock turret basically. The Nameless gets 80 on the sides, both on the turret and the hull, and a laughable 40 on the rear of the hull, and an 80 on the rear of the turret. So pretty much HE shells won't go through on the side, except when people are really going to shoot you from the back. Now to increase the effectiveness of the Nameless, you are going to position your tank diagonally, as you can see on the setup here, and move your turret on the front where the enemy is. Basically, this is the most effective way of using the Nameless here, because we can see that the thickness of the armor is going up on the whole here from 190 to 300, and even more so if you side scrape, because when you side scrape, the tank has a lot of more thicker armor from 350 to 500. Pretty much that's already killer armor here. But still, diagonally, if you want to try to take out a Nameless, you can either go for its cupola or its viewport, because pretty much the lower glacis here is a lot thicker at 200 to 287. So pretty much we can say that the Nameless is more of a close support tank. It's a tank that can be capable of leading a charge, but pretty much when you're pitting it up against tier 8s, it's not going to be effective as that. But that's enough theory crafting, let's go get stuck into some gameplay. So we are in Mirage and we spawned on the northern side of the map. So my tactic here for the heavies is pretty much go occupy the middle, which is going to be crucial for our part. And pretty much I noticed that my mini-map wasn't turned on, so I managed to turn it up back on again. And our team spots someone, the T-29. Unfortunately, the T-29 doesn't want to move up in fear of being shot. So I decided to take the chance here. I decided to get onto this dip. Unfortunately, we spot this Bulldog and then the CDC. I decided to just go out on him. I loaded an HE, and if we can take him out, yes we can. Now I reload. And notice this T-25 too showing his sights on the turret. Pretty much he has paper sights, so I load an HE again. Can we high roll? Yes, we high roll! And he's now reduced to only 254. Unfortunately, that Super Pershing penetrates us. And unfortunately for the T-25, his shot fails and he gets taken out. We also shot that. The Bulldog also missed a shot, and pretty much the Super Pershing. If I remember, the Super Pershing had a much better penetration here. I think its penetration was buffed. So anyway, we decided to take caution here. I will want to take caution here. And this AMX shows up. Can we? Yes, we can. And we pull back. This Super Pershing is trying to be cheeky here. Pretty much. And we ate this. We ate the lightweight shot with our tracks, which is really good. Now, pretty much, the Super Pershing is becoming a lot more cheeky now, trying to take us out. But unfortunately, his shot just doesn't go through us. So pretty much this was an awkward situation for me here. I really didn't want to try to show myself up, given that my gun depression is really not that good, because if I showed up I could have been penned here, given that these are tier 8s, and pretty much I really don't want to get penned by them. So we load a shot in, and we put a shot on that lightweight, which goes to deal 328 damage. And the Super Pershing tries to be cheeky again, trying to shoot at us, but unfortunately, it was his mistake, and we put a shot on his sides. Now pretty much this is a winning round for us, so I decided to just go forward here. So now, it's time for the Super Pershing to take his medicine. Yeah, that's what you deserve. Yeah. Alright, but can we finish the super Pershing off? Come on, reload. Come on, come on. Come on. Yes! We finish off that super Pershing, and this lightweight, we couldn't run off onto him, but unfortunately, our tank destroyers got them, and we win this round. So that was an absolute killer of a round. Let's go take a look at the after battle stats. So that was quite a killer of a round. We picked up 2,294 damage and destroyed 2 tanks. And pretty much this was a premium account. I had ×2 as well. So we're on top damage as well. Now you guys see just how the Nameless is able to perform in close combat instead of just staying in the back and sniping. But that's enough of that. Let's go into some more gameplay. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to start my recorder up early and missed the countdown there. But anyway, we're moving into the dunes here, and so pretty much I decided to go onto the dunes as well. Pretty much you can see just how most of my team is going onto the dunes now. I decided to go occupy the middle here because I really can't snipe with this thing, given that the dispersion is not really that good. Going to the middle is going to either provide me a middle range on shooting onto the town or onto the dunes over there. So anyway, we see our lights are engaging the T-37, and wow, they overextended there. They didn't have to go around in circles. This isn't Fast 5. They're not racing cars there. They're not Luke Hobbs. They have to race around. So anyway, we spot the VK and we put a shot onto him, damaging his ammo rack. And if we can put a shot into him, we might as well try to take him out, hopefully for an ammo rack. And unfortunately it doesn't. And the VK decides to shoot us, but anyway, that was unimportant because he got killed anyway. So now we shift our focus here, and we see the Snash Horn. I decided to load an HE and we try to be cheeky. And can we? Yes! We dealt almost 500, taking out nearly all of his hit points there. I decided to shift my focus on this MT. Unfortunately, I wasn't sure if I could put my shot, so I had to put my shots on late. And I really didn't want to show, and I pretty much didn't want to get shot by that AMX, so I rushed into the cover here. And if we can take out this MT, can we? Yes, we can. So we shift our focus on there. We try to shoot the Yak Panther and or that Nash Horn. But seeing that this AMX is trying to prevent my team from moving up, I decided to shift my focus there. I load an HE like a cheeky bastard, but unfortunately it doesn't high roll and hits the tracks instead. So now I shift to AP because I'm out of HE. Can we put a shot onto him? Yes, we can. We put one more. We need to take him out. Our team needs to move up. Come on, come on, come on. Come on, we need to play World of Tanks Blitz. Come on, come on. Can we? Yes, we can! Alright, now pretty much, this is a cleanup round now. And quite frankly, this was the part. This part here where this LTTB just rushes onto that tip and I try to rush in was the most embarrassing part here. I tried to go for a ramming here, but unfortunately... no. This cheeky LTTB just decides to steal the kill from us. Anyway, sad life. So anyway, that was an absolute killer of a round. Let's go take a look at the after battle stats. So that was quite of an okay round. We dealt 2,304 damage and killed 2 tanks. We're also top damage once again. So now, you see just how important positioning is in the Nameless. And pretty much if you want to use the Nameless, you're going to have to position your tank well in the map, and as well as deciding where you need to go and understanding the range, because you noticed that I was sniping with the Nameless. I was sitting in the back and my shots were hitting on the AMX and the Nash Horn. So as much as possible, try to position yourself mid-range, or even better if it's in close range, because pretty much your shots are going to punch really big. So after we've seen the gameplays, compared it with the other heavies, and as well as taking a look at the armor profile, it has come down to the question, is the Nameless worth it? Well, honestly, if the Valkyria Chronicle trio comes up for sale again, and I'm to choose between the 2 heavies, the Nameless and the Lupus, I'd rather take the Nameless, to be honest, because it's pretty much for me a lot more fun tank to play. Its gun is really not that punchy, but it's really sufficient. But the armor is really performing somehow compared to the Lupus. It sort of relies on slope, but pretty much if you're going to side scrape with this, or rather play this tank a lot more diagonally, then you can pretty much play this tank a lot more effectively. And pretty much that's what I like about the Nameless, it takes some skill to play this. It's a challenge to play, unlike the Lupus where you just go forward and shoot. And my thoughts on the Nameless is that I really love this. I really love this tank, and quite frankly, I like it a lot more than the Black Prince. And aesthetically, look at the tank, it's really adorable here. You can pretty much... It's really that adorable looking. Pretty much like a chibi tank for some reason. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and if it was, please consider giving it a like down below, subscribe, and let me know what you guys think of the Nameless and the other Valkyria Chronicles tanks down below in the comment section. And as always, thank you so much guys for watching, you've all been epic, and hopefully I'll see you guys in the battlefield in the next video.